Hello everyone, and welcome back to another exciting episode. Today I'm taking you to Mwiki, which is one of the most populated neighborhoods in Nairobi. In fact, I'm told that it is home to Mwiki Primary School, which is the most populated primary school in the country. I hope we'll see that. Well, I'm cruising nicely on Thika Road. It is one of the best Kenyan projects, built around 2007. We will get to Mwiki in a few minutes time, so stick around. Actually, the neighborhood is about 14 kilometers from Nairobi City Center, but we're gonna pass through some nice neighborhoods. I will tell you more about them. And so if you have never been into Mwiki, this is your lucky day, as I will take you there with few editings while giving you some nice statistics about the neighborhood. So right now I'm around Roysambu area, and I'm about to leave Thika Road as I proceed toward Mwiki. And a few meters from here I'll be entering Kasarani area, which is one of the most populated neighborhoods in Nairobi City. In fact, we can say that Mwiki is part of Kasarani, since Mwiki is just a ward in Kasarani constituency. But this is Kasarani Center, where on my left it's called Clay City, just a neighborhood in Kasarani, and on the right that's the real Kasarani. So Clay City extends from here all the way to Thika Road, the road I just left, and in terms of population it has 82,718. You can see it is a densely populated neighborhood. 38,696 are men, while 44,018 are women. So we can say that a majority of the dwellers of the estate on my left are women, as there are 6,000 more women than men in Clay City. Well, that's some crazy numbers from the Kenyan Bureau of Statistics. Oh well, before I forget, the population density in the neighborhood is 18,046 people living in a square kilometer. I hope you can see a road a few meters from here, exactly where the small car in front of me is turning to. This road will take you to the heart of Clay City. But our journey continues. Remember, our today's destination is Mwiki. And as I told you, the estate on my right is Kasarani. Well, about 55,417 people lives here, where 25,807 are males, while 29,510 are females. About the population density, 6,250 people lives in a square kilometer in Kasarani. And so if you do your quick maths, you can see that the Clay City area is more densely populated with 18,000 people in a square kilometer, especially when compared to the Kasarani side, which has only 6,000 living in a square kilometer. If you are the curious type with the numbers, I know you are wondering why the big difference, despite the fact that this is almost one neighborhood. And to answer you, I did a video some few weeks ago where we ventured deeper into Kasarani neighborhood. In fact, the video is still on this channel. You can go and check it up, and you will notice that there are some nice estates with single units houses standing alone on spacious compounds, definitely giving some old money kind of vibe. But on the left side, that is the Clay City, most houses are apartments which can take hundreds of residents. I know you have noticed that there are no residential houses up to this point, but I feel like this is the government area, since there are schools, police stations. I can also see on my right the Kasarani Sport Complex, which is the biggest stadium in the country as per now, with a seating capacity of about 70,000 people. Well, as you can see, I'm approaching another small town, and this must be Santon. Such a fancy name, which is the town between Kasarani and Mwiki, our destination. And I think it's good to make it clear, it's not a town per se, but a residential area. or just a neighborhood here in Nairobi City. Super densely populated, but quite decent. In fact, to rent a 2-bedroom apartment here, we'll need between 15,000 Kenya shillings and 25,000 Kenya shillings, depending on its location, especially the distance between its location and the main road. I can see some decent businesses here along the road, including gas stations. We just passed Total Energy on my left, I hope you noticed, which is one of the biggest companies in the oil industry in the country. I'm not doing some free marketing for them, but one of the few things I like about the company, especially as a traveler who is regularly on the road, is their dedication to giving directions or the exact location of where you are. For instance, if there is one in Kasarani, they will write Total Kasarani. If there's one in Gachie, they will write Total Gachie. That's make it easy for the first timers in the neighborhood. And so if you are a curious traveler like myself, who like knowing where you are, next time you better check out for Total petrol stations. We move on regardless, still in Santons. And one of the major problems along this Kasarani Mwiki road is traffic jam. I'm sure so far you have noticed that, and I tell you that it can get crazier, especially during peak hours, that is during the evening and early in the morning when people are going to work or leaving. In fact, Mwiki is not far from here. It's about 2 kilometers or less, but the heavy traffic jam can make it really hectic. But we definitely soldier on. The heavy traffic is a result of narrow roads and high population. And speaking of high population, remember this is in Kasarani constituency, which is one of the most densely populated sub-counties in the country. In fact, the 3 neighborhoods that we are patrolling today, that is Kasarani, Santon, and Mwiki, which is our destination, they form the huge chunk of Kasarani constituency. And to keep you in the know for the kind of population we are talking about here, Kasarani sub-county has a total population of 780,656 people. Well, that was as of 2019. I'm sure the population has since increased. And remember, all that is in an area of 86.2 kilometers squared, which is quite a small area, meaning the area is densely populated. In fact, according to the Kenyan Bureau of Statistics, the population density of Kasarani is 9,056 people per square kilometer. And as I always tell you, a square kilometer is about 250 acres. Well, the annual population growth rate is 4% per annum, which is quite high. In fact, in 2009, the population was about 525,624, and it increased to 780,000 by 2019. That's an increase with about 255,000 people in 10 years, meaning that as of 2024, the population is beyond 1 million mark. And so we can say that this is a vote-rich sub-county. I know politicians love that language. They see numbers in terms of votes and the people as voting machines. Well, it's all about interests. In terms of gender distribution, 51.2% are women, which is about 399,000 people, while 48.8% of the total population are men, which is 381,234. We can also see that the number of women is pretty high in the sub-county, with approximately 20,000. Now let's do the real maths. 399 minus 381, that's roughly 18,000, meaning that there are 18,000 more women than men in Kasarani. In terms of the intersex, which are the people who have the two organs, female and male, there are only 37 people in the entire sub-county. And remember, this parameter was first introduced in the Kenya statistics in 2019. That is during the Great General Census that took place that year, meaning the country is moving to the right direction. Remember, in the past, such people are just ignored. The government just assumed that they don't exist, recognizing males and females. Well, good news. I can see Mwiki Shopping Center from where I sit. It is on the other side of the hill. I'm sure you can see it too, but there is a river between. This is a public transport vehicle on my left, picking or dropping passengers. And you have to be super careful when dealing with them on Kenyan roads. Wow, I just told you. The guy believed that there's no one that should be in front of him on the road. And if you don't like trouble, just like Mr. Lone Traveler, you just let them be. You know there's more to life than seeking out for trouble out here. This is a human drawn cat on my left, and it seems like the brother has decided to cross the road abruptly. Just give him time. You can imagine how heavy that load is for one man. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Mwiki Shopping Center. From where I sit, it seems like a big town. We're gonna go around the hood and see how businesses are faring. I can see some on the roadside already. We also intend to go deeper in the neighborhood and see how people live. So stick around until the end. Also tell us on the comment section whether you've been here, what was your experience, and if you come from Mwiki or you ever lived here, leave a fact or two about your neighborhood. Is it safe here? What kind of businesses are doing so well here? You can help an investor or two. And what about the social amenities? Is water readily available? What about schools and hospitals? And speaking of schools, I read an article by one of the most popular newspapers in the country that ranked Mwiki Primary School as one of the most popular schools in the country. According to the article, in 2022, the school had a total population of 4,500 learners. That's a crazy number. Here it's where it gets more crazier. The school had only 41 classes and 1,077 desks. I don't know whether the number has increased since. Just hoping it did. But just do your maths. You can divide the number of pupils and that of desks to see how many are sharing one desk. You can also divide the number of pupils with the aggregate number of classes, that is 41, and see the average number of learners sharing one class. I don't know what you found on average, if indeed you did the maths, but the report said that on average, some classes accommodate up to 130 learners. That is way beyond the Ministry of Education guidelines, which states that, on average, a classroom should have 40 pupils. What crazier? The school entire compounds measure 84 meters by 86. Well, I'm looking for a way to get to the interior part of the town. It is the time we check how people live. So we want to go deeper to the residential area. So far, so good. It's a beautiful neighborhood, and it is evident everyone is going about their business. A typical Nairobi estate. I'm definitely in love with what I'm seeing. It's funny that there's traffic jam even in the interior, but probably there are vendors selling their product right on the road, since it is unusual to have heavy traffic in such areas as a result of many cars. I can see there's a mixture of low houses and high rises. and they all differ in terms of age and architectural design. Most high-rises seems new, while most low houses seem older. I don't know the logic, but probably it is because new investors are creeping in and buying old buildings and plots and establishing high-rising buildings, which tells you that the future of the estate is super bright. The fact that this road is tarmacked tells you that development is slowly creeping in the estate, although it is not news for estates in Nairobi to have their interior roads tarmacked. But this, of course, is not the case for most towns in rural Kenya, as only the main roads have been improved to the bitumen standards. Well, I can see a church right in front. It's not a big one. I honestly thought that was a shop. I can even hear some preaching going on. And unfortunately, the tarmacked road is no more. But the road is not that bad, but I'm sure it can turn chaotic, especially during the rainy season. I want to turn around and go back to Mwiki town center. I have no intentions of going deeper into the residential area. There's a lot to see in the town. In fact, I'm told that there's a nearby railway station in the town, and I'm hoping we'll catch the last train so that we can see how the railway transport in Kenya is. It is a beautiful neighborhood with a total population of 60,783. 28,964 are males, while 31,817 are women. The average population density is 3,795 people living in a square kilometer. I want to delve deeper into that issue, as there is some confusion about this place, as there are two administrative wards that goes by the name Mwiki, where one is in Kiambu County, while the other is in Nairobi. Well, the one in Nairobi, it's called Kasarani Mwiki, and it is this one, while the neighboring one, which is in Kiambu, it's called Githurai Mwiki, which is also quite populated. We will visit it sometimes later and see the difference. And that one is in Ruiru constituency. In fact, I've seen some crazy argument on this page, especially by people seeking to know why Ruiru is ranked position 4 on the list of the most popular urban centers in the country. In fact, it is currently in the 3rd position, beating some serious cities such as Eldoret, Nakuru, and Kisumu. Well, the explanation to this is the Ruiru urban area starts from here, Mwiki, all the way to Githurai, to Ruiru town, and some estates such as Kahawa Wendani and Kahawa Sukari. And I'm sure you don't want to know how densely populated these places are. Well, back to Mwiki Kasarani, which is the place we are right now. And this ward has two sub-locations, which are Mutirithia and Mwiki, with Mutirithia being the most densely populated, with 20,511 people, where 13,765 are men, while 14,724 are women. In terms of the population density, there are 24,131 people living in a square kilometer. It is the smallest of the two, with an area of 1.2 kilometers squared, and I'm guessing Mutirithia is right here in the town center, as it is likely to have high population, although I'm not quite sure, but the locals can help us with this surely. All I know is that Mutirithia is a Kikuyu name, which means a helper. The other sub-location, Mwiki, has a total population of 32,272 people, where 15,179 are men, while 17,093 are women. In terms of the population density, there are 2,1 176 people living in a square kilometer. Well, you can compare that with Mutirithia, which has 24,131. What a hell of a difference. I want to show you something real quick. Can you see some neighborhood right across? That is Njiro area near Kayole. Well, that was super cold. I want to go back to the town so that we can catch the last train. I hope today is our lucky day. Well, the railway station is only a few meters from here, and definitely it will take us less than a minute to get there. Well, back to the numbers about the two sub-locations, and the difference is also evident in terms of the occupied area, as Mwiki occupy 14.8 kilometers squared, while Mutirithia 1.2 kilometers squared. Well, the railway station is right here on my right, and I want to get there, or rather as close as I can be. It's super nice, although it is the old railway line, and to be precise, the 1 meter gauge line. And funny enough, it's still operational. I'm told that there's a commuter train that goes twice a week, if I'm not wrong, from Nairobi all the way to Nanyuki town, which is right next to Mount Kenya, which is the tallest mountain in the country and the second largest or the second tallest in the continent. I just heard some horn, and that must be the train coming. Let's wait and see. In the meantime, make sure you subscribe and like the video so that it can be recommended to as many people as possible. Thank you.